Welcome back to another episode of the Waddy and Nerdy About podcast, part of the Nerdstalgia store in Colorado Springs, Citadel Mall. Thanks for joining us again. I'm here with Ray, the Type 1 Warrior. We're going to chat a little bit, but before we do that, just let you know a little bit about the store. We're a mall store. Malls aren't, where people go shop in 2026, but pretty kick-ass little place, and you can get in here real easy. Go in the food court entrance, come downstairs, come in the Platt and Shelton exit in the back, and you can come right in. We're about 5-6 stores down on your right-hand side, and we carry what you're nerdy about. So whether that's physical media in movies, music, video games, or comics, toys, or other collectibles that go with that stuff, that's what we do here. On the podcast, we talk nerdy, and today we're talking to Ray, Type 1 Warrior. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah. It has been quite some time since I've been on a podcast, so it's refreshing to be in person for once. Yeah. I like to do them in person. For one, it's way more comfortable to sit on this couch than it is my setup at home. So, my back definitely appreciates, kick back on the recliner if I want to, so definitely like doing them in person. It has a better feel and flow anyway. So we do these podcasts here. I do podcasts with Wade Keller on PW Torch. You can check those out, but Ray you can catch weekly on Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. We're going to talk a little bit about that later, but first going to get to know Ray and what he's nerdy about. Ray? I always have a special place for professional wrestling, as always.
Sure.
But with the situation that I'm in, I have a much more special place for the independent circuit.
Sure.
And the independent circuit, at least for me, in my opinion, didn't start getting kicked off until the 2000-2001 time frame.
Yeah.
While we love ECW, we didn't see a lot of different companies pop up until
there were those around, but wrestling changed so much from territories, so every area had its own wrestling company, to nationalizing, and all of those dried up, and then you had your Jersey All Pros, your Eastern Championship that became ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling. So you'd have those here and there, but nothing ever consistent. But 2001, that's the year ECW and WCW went out of business. So that definitely opened something up in the wrestling market for something other than just the big brand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And again, I love WWE as much as the next guy, but I also find myself digging deeper. Because there's the occasional, where did this guy come from? Where did that guy start off?
Yes.
And a lot of that tails down to TNA.
Yeah.
The beginning of TNA, there's a lot of guys that are still relevant to this day. You've got Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, who retired. All these guys who made it mainstream. But
Abyss, one of the big television producers backstage, laying matches out, talking to guys through the matches. One of the things, and Jeff Jarrett was a wrestler in those territory days. He was in the Memphis area, Memphis, Tennessee, working for his dad. And then he went to WWF and back and forth a little bit to WCW and back to WWF. But he was the one that started TNA, and he did always have a real eye for talent.
Oh, yeah. I know a lot of people will claim that talent was buried in TNA, and occasionally I would say that's true. Not a lot. But even whenever those guys got buried, they still found a lot of success elsewhere.
Yeah. And so I'm a big fan of Jeff Jarrett and his podcast. I don't agree with everything, his philosophy in wrestling, but as a business guy and as a fundamentals, I really like Jeff Jarrett and his podcast and his philosophy on wrestling and listening to him. And, he wasn't trying to bury anybody. He's trying to make sure that he kept big name talent drawing people in, but undercard talent that was developing. And, he had definitely a method in place. I think a lot of times fans want things to happen faster than they can happen.
And I would say that's probably part of the problem with modern wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever everybody's equal, there's no, mega star.
Yep.
So it feels like these people have to be, again, buried to make mega stars.
Yeah. Yep. You got to focus on top talent. I get that. So TNA, they started in 2002.
Yeah.
And they started as a weekly pay-per-view show on Wednesday nights. They figured if you're paying $40 a month for a pay-per-view, that you'd spend $10 a week, 4 weeks, and get 4 different shows. Did you ever watch any of those?
I did not, unfortunately. My first experience to learning about more than just WWE was CM Punk's pipe bomb. Okay. I know that sounds so cliche.
That's awesome though.
But whenever he named off New Japan, named off Ring of Honor, I don't know if he named off TNA in that pipe bomb.
No.
I don't think he did. But it opened a much bigger rabbit hole that I didn't know existed.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's really cool if that promo is what did it for you. For me, I always knew there was more than WWE because I grew up a WCW fan. And, WCW was much better about, they had an agreement with New Japan, or All Japan at a different time, but, they'd bring talent back and forth. And when I was a kid, they had they'd brought the NWA back in. We were just talking about how many incarnations of the NWA there's been. But they had an agreement with an NWA again. It was confusing because they had 2 different tag team champions, 2 different world champions. But it's a world title because that's the only world title Rick Rude won. Yeah. So it's a world title. But the NWA, it showed me that there were other people coming in and out of this company, where WWE, it's their guys. And only recently have they had where TNA talent mixes in. I mean, you had Joe Hendry on a WrestleMania card, who was a TNA wrestler, and you had TNA Knockout champions in the Women's Royal Rumbles the last few years. So, really cool that you get to see that from the WWE now, but they didn't do that back then.
Well, there was the occasional time in the 80s and 90s that they
had the NWA
They would do it
thing.
once or twice.
Yeah.
It would never last longer than a month.
Yep. They were always really big on renaming people and making a whole new gimmick like they didn't exist before.
Yeah. Well, from a business standpoint, I understand it.
Yeah.
But from the wrestler standpoint, I get so frustrated.
Yeah.
Because these guys build themselves up as this one brand.
Yeah.
And then maybe half of those people will recognize because they changed their look completely, changed their gimmick completely.
I always liked One Man Gang way more than Akeem the African Dream. And then what a recent example of that was Brodus Clay. What a flop that guy's WWE career was, and it was not on him.
Yeah.
That dude was awesome. He could have been what Brodus... I don't think he's as good as Bronson Reed.
Yeah.
But he could have had a similar trajectory as Bronson Reed. Like, he was that big, didn't look like super fit, but, you weren't going to tell him.
He was a monster.
Yeah. Vader was not chiseled with a six-pack, but you were not going to fuck with him either. You knew that guy would mess you up. So, that's... I love that kind of stuff. So, when you got into it, how did you discover the stuff?
Discover the indies, or
how did you go out and find the matches and the cards?
So originally, with the mention of Ring of Honor and New Japan, I went and searched both those up. I discovered that CM Punk was on Ring of Honor and not New Japan, so I kind of put New Japan on the back burner for quite some time. Rifled through, found some of the classics, some of CM Punk versus Raven.
Yeah. The Samoa Joe Punk trilogy.
Oh,
that's Samoa Joe is what got me into ROH. So I used to be a subscriber. So now I write for The Torch from other podcasts, but I was a subscriber years ago and would, read about the Samoa Joe guy. Wade would really put him over. And I'm like, I got to see this guy. And when he came to TNA, man, I was so stoked. Because I could watch that every week.
His Ring of Honor classics, and then after I got through all of that, I then pulled New Japan off of the back burner, found all these guys. This was close to whenever the Bullet Club started up, so I got to witness
that's cool
that from either, I can't remember if it was the beginning or like right after they started up.
Yeah.
But
see, I missed all of that kind of stuff. I was so busy at that point in my life that I just got to WWE and pretty much Raw.
And that's like, I am no fret for somebody who looks at wrestling that way, but I always like the idea of being open to looking for more. But I also understand not having the time to look for more.
Yeah.
Not everybody has that time.
Yep. Yeah. At that stage of my life, I just didn't. So I missed all that stuff. But, I think as a wrestling fan, there's times you need breaks, and there's times you need to, I can't watch everything. I'm on one of those where I'm like, man, I just throw on an old Coliseum video from the WWE vault that we were watching while I was closing the store up. So, I love watching whatever I can watch just to fill the background, to see some characters, watch some cool moves. I don't watch it all intently, but, it's just fun to throw on.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when you have a busy lifestyle combined with ADHD brain, short segments of things, a 10-minute match here, 15-minute match there, it changes from match to match. You're changing storylines. You're not keeping up with one movie and doing all of that. So sometimes it's much easier to follow.
Oh, yeah.
So New Japan, that was the Bullet Club. Tell me a little bit about the Bullet Club.
The starting initiation of it. Again, I don't remember off the top of my head if I actually got to witness it when it happened, or states wise a day or two after it happened.
Sure.
Or if it was a few months after it happened. It might even have been a year. But I remember it was Finn Balor, Carl Anderson,
Gallows?
No, Gallows was still kind of meandering there.
Okay.
But it was these four guys. I think Bad Luck Fale was part of that original four. Because Carl Anderson turned on, I forget his New Japan name, Prince Albert, A-Train, Lord Tensai.
Yeah.
I don't remember his New Japan name.
Yeah, I'll think of it if I think about it for a little while.
I can think of all of his WWE names. Yeah. I can't think of
Giant
his New
Bernard.
Japan. Was it Giant Bernard?
Yep.
But I remember it was Carl Anderson turning on Bernard and joining up with Carl Anderson, or joining up with Finn Balor and all of them, and it changed the landscape of wrestling. There's no other way to describe it. The Bullet Club changed pro wrestling as a whole.
Yeah,
you like them
did.
or you hate them. New Japan with the Bullet Club, with that consecutive storyline, changed professional wrestling completely.
Yeah, I think they did a lot of business in New Japan with the NWO. They had the NWO Sting over there, full time. He would come here and interrupt matches, make people think it was Sting. But Jeff Farmer, that wrestler, he wrestled full time in Japan as the NWO Sting. Masahiro Chono, and somebody else that was in the NWO. That was a Japanese wrestler. But they had their own faction in New Japan, and I think that was big business for them. And the Bullet Club really took that next level for New Japan, because New Japan, I don't think it's ever been bigger in the States than during the Bullet Club.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Hot Topic was carrying Bullet Club shirts.
Yeah. And that was another really cool thing to see non-WWE merchandise in just standard stores.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's not, in the current present day, that's not shocking.
Sure. You'll see some AEW here and there.
You see AEW, you see cool. TNA, you'll see some other stuff, but whenever it was generic WWE shirt 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 37, and then to get a break from that and see something from a different company, it felt a lot bigger.
Anytime they even carry WWE shirts at Hot Topic, like, to me, like, you got your Ultimate Warrior shirts at Kmart when I was a kid. Like, you did not find them in cool stores.
No. No. And yeah, there's that difference now, because there will be like the Hot Topic style WWE shirts, and then there's like the Walmart style WWE t-shirts.
Yeah.
And no discredit to either one.
No, but I mean, Walmart, Kmart, they carry clothes that people can afford to wear.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily carry brands people want to wear. So when you saw the stuff you wanted outside of the place that kids would make fun of you for wearing that stuff, like, hey, it's cool to be a pro wrestling fan. I remember I could wear my NWO shirt to high school. Like, there was no other wrestling shirt that I would wear, but I'd wear the NWO one. I wasn't wearing one with Goldberg on it or anything like that. But they finally made some cool shirts in the 90s, and then they've, I wear a lot of wrestling shirts now, but I don't care. I mean, tonight's the Monty Python quote that people probably can't read if they're trying to read, but so we talked a little bit about New Japan. We talked about TNA, just a little bit, and TNA, not necessarily an indie company. They started that way for sure, and then they were majority owned by Panda Energy. They were on Spike TV, which is like the Paramount network now.
Yeah.
So they had some pretty good distribution of their shows, and then it kind of fell apart. And they're really, they became Impact Wrestling, dropped the TNA name, which that name was always dumb. But there's an affinity for it now, so people like the TNA name being back.
That short run of Global
Force Wrestling, yeah.
Global Force Impact, because Jeff Jarrett won that feud.
Yeah. I mean, TNA as a name was, that was a Russo idea of, tits and ass, people. They had, the original ones had go-go girls in cages dancing.
Yeah.
They had, Attitude Era type of angles, which is crazy. You go watch JCW now, it's the same type of sleazy Attitude Era stuff, but it works so well in Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Yeah. Oh,
it's a perfect place for it. But one other one that launched around the same time that was massive was Ring of Honor.
Oh, yeah. Ring of Honor, phenomenal company. I remember... I forget the name of modern wrestlers quite often. I remember there's a modern wrestler who's in the LWO who designed, it was either the first or second ever Ring of Honor logo for them. I apologize for just not knowing names. I'm horrible with that.
The LWO, they don't do a lot to put any names out there that aren't Rey Mysterio or Dragon Lee, so.
That's fair. But I remember reading a story not too long ago that he had designed it was either the first or second Ring of Honor logo. But Ring of Honor, up until I would say 2018, was like the mainstream indie company.
Yeah. Well, they were the one that was behind the first All Out.
Yeah.
Or All In.
No,
All Out.
It was All Out.
Yeah. So, yeah. So All Out was the Indie Mega Show.
Yeah.
Dave Meltzer, who is he's the biggest reporter for wrestling, but he's also probably one of the bigger frauds. Not necessarily a big fan of that dude. I'm a Wade Keller guy for sure. So they made he laid out the challenge that no company other than WWE could fill a 10,000 seat arena, and Cody Rhodes with the ROH backing
and Bullet Club,
and Bullet Club, the Elite as they're known, Kenny and the Young Bucks, Paige. That was a great show, man. I mean, Rey Mysterio was a free agent at the time. He was on that show.
Ray, a few months beforehand, had came back in the Rumble that year.
Yeah.
But he
didn't sign a contract, I don't think.
From stories that I've heard, and who knows how true they are, he had somehow convinced that he had already accepted this booking forever ago.
Sure.
And they were like, oh, it's a whatever.
Good on them. Yeah.
It's whatever booking. Yeah. You're fine. Which, to hear that come from WWE, if it wasn't somebody of such a monumental level, I wouldn't believe it. But somebody like Rey Mysterio, somebody of that magnitude, I could understand them being like, we'll give you this one time slide. Yeah.
That had the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match, Cody versus
Aldis.
Yeah, Nick Aldis, and that was a fantastic match. So, they after that, Tony Khan said, "Hey, let's start AEW," and that was really the launch for it. And Tony ended up buying ROH, and ROH is kind of their NXT for AEW now.
Yeah.
But man, talk to me about those glory days.
Glory days. It's before they had all the titles. They had the men's title, the TV's title, and tag titles. Pure. It's as bare bones as you could get.
They had the Pure Championship before the.
Oh, they did have the Pure title.
That was before the TV Championship. I love the Pure title. I love when a title has a different meaning. Yeah. Like, it means something different. I think Lee Moriarty's doing a killer job with that Pure title. Does he still have it?
I don't watch a lot of Ring of Honor these days just because of what it's...
I think he still has it, and I think he's doing a great job with the Pure Championship. He does a really good job with that.
Yeah. But the more classic Ring of Honor days, there's so much.
And let's talk a little bit about what set Ring of Honor apart. The whole name of honor, like, you had to start and end every match with a handshake. And it was like 3 years before they broke that code. Oh, yeah. And it meant something because they refused the handshake.
Yes, it's that story of building something up so high that whenever it happens, it's much more impactful.
Yep.
Because had they had broken that rule on the second show, the third show,
Vince Russo would
2 months in, 2 months in, 3 months in, even a year in, it's not...
Vince is booking JCW right now, and Ninja Mac gets the U.S. title and loses it the next week. Like, it's so Attitude Era all over again. It's a blast. I love it. I'm not hating, just stating. But yeah, it's very much like that. Where his type, he would have broken it so fast. But yeah, I mean, now they have the fights without honor, and that's where you don't have the handshake. It is like their version of a hardcore or a death match.
I want to say the Adam Cole stuff during that time frame. I was really upset that Adam Cole didn't get a lot more noticed in Japan as he did in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Because you talk to those fan bases, it was polar opposite. You talk to Ring of Honor and they were like, Adam Cole is God's gift. Then you would go talk to New Japan and they were like, we don't know who Adam Cole is.
Yeah.
And it was that was a disappointing one because I idolize Adam Cole. There's quite a few people, but in the modern day, I idolize Adam Cole just because he was the small guy that like made it, and he didn't make it as the small guy. He made it as Adam Cole, the wrestler.
Yeah.
And no discredit to the small guys that made it as being the small guy.
Yeah.
Adam Cole was the small guy that didn't have to be the small guy.
Yeah.
And that is what set him apart for me from a lot of people.
The thing I was always impressed with him, it's really hard to be a heel as a small guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I can attest to this.
Yeah. Because you're fighting from underneath. Like, you're not the big bully. Like, the big guy's usually the heel. Like, they had to find monsters to be the heel against Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Because your baby face was
already
305 pounds. But but you had to find Andre and Earthquake and all of those. But yeah, that's one of the things I was always impressed with Adam Cole, was he carried himself great as a heel. I thought he was a better heel than babyface, and he was a fine babyface. But I thought he was an even better heel. I just thought he had that. He looks like he probably could have been Shawn Michaels' illegitimate son. But yeah, there's a lot of Shawn Michaels, not only in his look, but in his wrestling style, and the fact that he can play this just cocky heel being so small, and people buy into it. And he was awesome.
Yeah. Another one, Kyle O'Reilly, who came up with him. He's got a special place in my heart, as I'm a type 1 diabetic, and so is he. So he's got a much more different spot in my heart for professional wrestling than most.
Yeah.
That just affinity for the small guy that Ring of Honor had. Because you look at WWE, especially in that time frame.
Yep.
You had Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
That was
like Shawn Michaels was considered a small guy at 220.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, they've come a long way. The whole wrestling industry has come a long way on that, because you didn't get over unless you looked like an action figure in the 80s. But hey, steroids were big in the 80s. You were Schwarzenegger, Rambo, or Hulk Hogan. Those are the idols.
They were big up until about 2010, whenever people started getting fired for them. So
yeah. Yeah. Because back then, man, even some of the smaller guys, you'd see way too much mass on people like Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, being the small guys that made it. Eddie being, he wasn't always, like you said, he wasn't always the small guy, but man, you see him versus Lesnar, and there's a difference in size for sure. I always thought that was very cool to let Eddie go over Lesnar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Awesome. While Goldberg was involved in that finish, a lot of people forget that just because of how iconic Eddie winning was.
Yes. Yeah. And then him keeping it at WrestleMania, because I thought for sure he's going to lose, and that Dom pulled that out recently. That get the boot, untie the boot. But yeah, to me, independent wrestling is truly what professional wrestling is.
Yeah.
Like WWE, there's a reason there's a much bigger WWE audience. They really are sports entertainment. That is part of professional wrestling, is part of that. But they're about, it's big entrances, it's big stars, catchphrases, signature moves, finishers, moments. Like, that's WWE. The big dramatic story. The matches themselves are not always the story. And that's where the difference is.
Yeah.
That there's always a story to a match, but yeah, Ring of Honor, New Japan, you had to have the match tell the story, because they didn't always have English commentary.
No, and the culture in Japan, their storylines for most of the company's existence of New Japan was based around, I'm a better wrestler, not I can shit talk better than you.
Yeah.
Where
that was the American style, for sure. It's very interesting to see how the hotbeds for wrestling are the States, Canada, to a certain degree, has been, but it's very similar to the States meets the European style.
Yeah.
So you have the States, the Mexican style, the European style, and the Japanese style. Like, those are the 4, like, big styles of wrestling. And, yeah, they're very unique. I've always been a fan of... I don't love that WWE owns AAA now, because I think with any corporation getting too big, everything becomes too much the same. But to be able to see, like, Mexican wrestling with English commentary, and I love the team they use with Corey Graves, my total man crush, and
Conan.
And Conan's great, and JBL. I love JBL
on
commentary.
JBL, and it's upsetting to say because of how good he is, has gotten 100 times more over after he retired than he was whenever he was wrestling. But, like, he could do all of that when he was still wrestling.
Here's what I have respect for JBL, in that how good of a heel he was, in that he let himself be a heel to the fans, people backstage. Like, he was a heel, and you listen to him now and he's like, I wasn't trying to be a bully. Like, I can see you calling me a bully for this. We were big, dumb, young people that didn't have the internet to keep us busy. Like, we're just, like, trying to keep ourselves, like, entertained.
Yeah.
And, he's a big, good old boy from Texas. But the dude, like, he takes care of, like, his sports leagues in third world countries where little boys, like, have something to, like, look forward to and learn teamwork and have a better future. And he has more rescue cats than anybody I know. Like, the dude's a total baby face, but he's a good guy underneath all that heel exterior.
That's how most people are.
Yeah.
Some of the worst heels, some of the nicest people, but you gotta get there.
Yep. Well, and no names, but, we talked about names where they were baby faces, but they couldn't have been more of a heel when you actually talked to them. So.
Yeah, there's a few of those as well.
Yeah. Yep. That goes for more than wrestling, man. I tell you, owning your business and trying to reach out. I've been disappointed by wrestlers, musicians, other business people, but hey. That's not what we're here for. What we are here for is promoting the store and talking nerdy. Make sure you come check us out if you like the wrestling talk. We've got wrestling stuff. Behind me, you can see a whole wall of action figures that are boxed. Around the corner from Michael there's all kinds of more wrestling stuff. We have title belts. We talked about TNA. I've got a TNA World Championship right now that's signed by 2 former champions. One of the biggest names from TNA, he was Mr. TNA, and now he's in his retirement year WWE, and that is Mr. AJ Styles, one of the all-time greats, one of the best to ever do it. Phenomenal. Tell me about your AJ Styles fandom.
The affinity for AJ Styles. You've seen some of my gear.
Oh, yeah.
I take a lot of my stuff from early AJ Styles.
Yeah, AJ Styles, as they call it. When he had the shorts. He wore those for that Cena match, man. That was awesome when he came out in his TNA gear. But
it wasn't even just any old gear. It was the gear that they had for the photo that they had used for the 2005 PWI magazine. Yeah. Whenever they had John Cena and AJ Styles on it as like the biggest what if that'll never happen in pro wrestling. Yeah.
I wrote a whole article about like what if matches from TNA, that era, and WWE. Man, I'd love to see, of course, Sting versus Undertaker, Mankind versus Abyss. Those have been great. Undertaker versus Abyss. Another one that had quite a run in ROH and actually developed this gimmick in TNA is Black Machismo. You can find him now in AEW as Jay Lethal. Had one of the best Macho Man impersonations, not only in voice, like everybody's got a Macho Man, like
his mannerisms.
the mannerisms, the music, the way he had his Elizabeth and SoCal Val put him up on his shoulder, the finger, the way he just nailed it. And then, to me, the greatest wrestler ever, my favorite, not the greatest wrestler ever. I mean, there's been better people do it, but my favorite, man, Sting, just a great character, just a good dude. He was the name that went to TNA that helped legitimize them.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I paid money to watch one of the $9.99 shows. I'd watch a few of them. A buddy of mine, his mom worked at the cable company, so they got everything, and he'd tape them and lend me the tapes, so I'd watch them. But I remember the time that I paid money to watch it. Sting was in a tag team match. Can't remember who he teamed. Maybe it was AJ Styles against Jeff Jarrett and somebody. Could have been Monty Brown or who knows at that time. But yeah, the tag team match when Sting came back, because I'm a WCW fan, always was. I say it all the time when I talk wrestling, but Sting versus Ravishing Rick Rude is what hooked me. Those have been my two favorite wrestlers my whole life. I always liked the heels, and Rick Rude was awesome. And then I just loved Sting. So yeah, we've got stuff like that at the store. You can come visit us here in the Citadel Mall, 11 to 8, Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 6 Sundays. We're closed on Mondays. But you can check us out at Nerdstalgia Shop on socials, and then nerdstalgia.shop is the website. Ray, tell them a little bit about you being a wrestler, Type 1 Warrior. I mentioned earlier they can find you weekly. Rocky Mountain Pro. Tell me a little bit about Rocky Mountain Pro.
Rocky Mountain Pro, it's and this is no discredit to any of the other companies in Colorado, but it is the biggest company in Colorado currently. Well, obviously, the landscape changes. Yep. There's never the company anywhere.
Well, a lot of that was just connections. I mean, they were associated with OVW for a long time. So you'd have people like Al Snow, D'Lo Brown, Vince Russo very regularly.
D'Lo is still there pretty often. That's cool. He's got his interim voice, and I'll give a little bit of a shout out to Dame James. His voice whenever D'Lo can't be there is that man, and to Dame, phenomenal speaker. You can catch him as well on Rocky Mountain Pro Weekly. But it's a company that holds itself in such a high regard that it's hard to see it as anything less.
Yeah. I mean, they got a great TV show every week that you can catch on YouTube. They do. Are there pay-per-views on Triller, or are they on something else?
Pay-per-views are on Rumble, YouTube, I believe Twitch. That's one that I would have to.
The weekly show's on Twitch as well.
The weekly show is also on Twitch. There's a few other that I cannot think of off the top of my name, but Rumble, YouTube, Twitch. You've got all the pay-per-views live if you pay. I think you get to watch them for free if it's a few months after the show. Okay. But live if you pay, live weekly shows for free, Charge, Ignition, phenomenal guys. I just recently, over the past week, I had a tag team match with The Reckless and myself, Type 6. Probably it's in the top 5 of my matches that I've had personally, and it was with all homegrown talent.
Okay. And that was on last week's episode or this week's?
It was on this week's episode of Ignition. I want to say it was episode 480. Okay. So that should tell you quite a long lineage of episodes.
I'll definitely tune in and check out your match. Now, you're also wrestling for BPW. We've got 2 shots coming up. One in Greeley on the 31st. And also the grand opening party here you'll be involved with.
Yes, the 24th. I would say an all-day event, but it's a daytime event, 11 through 3. As you've stated before, wrestling matches will be a match every hour.
Yep, top of every hour. That'll give you time to check out the match, check out the mall, check out the vendors, the store. We'll have in-store discounts. Fonte Flame, who hosts the What Am I Nerdy About podcast, he'll be wrapping his stuff back here. Check his stuff out on YouTube.
And then the 31st, while the stipulation has not been given to me and has, to my knowledge, not been given to my opponent, I would be quite upset if it was given to him and not me. I know that it's going to be myself versus Coda Alexander, and with no disrespect to him, I know that I'm a better wrestler than him, and I know that I'm going to be able to come out of that match the victor with my rightfully earned Livewire Championship shot that I had earned last month fighting him.
Yeah, I want to see you come out on top, man. I'm a big Type 1 fan, so love having you on here. Yeah, love, man. I've loved since I watched you at CSW, man. Thought you were a lot of fun to watch. I loved. I was there the night you won your 719 championship, man.
The world title?
The 719. Was it the world?
It was the world title.
Okay, all right. So it was the CSW. So that's my poor memory, but loved seeing like the kids in the ring, man. That was super cool. I love seeing you with kids, and I think that's an important thing with a wrestler, especially a babyface wrestler. So that's what it's about, man. Hook 'em for life. But yeah, check him out. You can find Ray. He's got his own YouTube channel. We'll get that linked here so you can see both when you're watching this video. But he's got social medias: Facebook, Instagram. Any other ones you want to plug?
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That's what I got.
All right. Check out the shows. Definitely be here at the grand opening and get to see what Ray does and see him whoop some ass. So Ray, we're talking about this independent wrestling, alternative brand wrestling. What is it that makes you so passionate, so nerdy about this form of wrestling in general, but this form of wrestling?
It's something that I directly have an influence on. Whether it's an indie wrestler that's in Kansas working once a month, or it's somebody like me, or somebody like the people up in Denver working weekly, it's not an easy grind.
No.
And it's something that I have grown quite the passion for, but I also have grown the understanding. There's not everybody that can do that grind, and I have no disrespect for people like that. I respect anybody that's willing to step into the squared circle. You're putting your life on the line, whether it's once a month, once every other month, once a week. No matter what it is, you're putting your life on the line for entertainment, for the love of the game.
Yep.
And my passion is trying to go as high as I can get.
Yeah. All right. How long have you been watching? When did you get hooked?
My earliest memories is watching SmackDown because we were broke. SmackDown was free. Raw was not.
Yep.
In 2004 with my grandpa, and while my dad will accept it now, he wouldn't at the time accept that he was also watching the wrestling. That was just, he was in the military. A lot of, as you were mentioning earlier, you couldn't be a fan of professional wrestling up until recently.
Yeah.
And still seen as cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I dropped all that after high school. I don't know why I tried to be cool in high school. I knew I wasn't. I guess I was reminded every day I wasn't cool. I didn't want to make it worse on myself. Hey, I found the punk rock kids. You get junior, senior year, you find your crowd, man. We were just a bunch of outcasts. But yeah, that's wrestling, and you still get it, man. I was my other job, and I was talking to somebody, and they were trying to get me into anime, and I'm like, man, I get it. I said, you like to watch cartoons fight? I watch grown people in their underwear fight. But he just gave me this look like, you watch that stuff? And I'm like, dude, you watch anime? Like, really? You're judging my wrestling habits? But, but yeah, it's all fake. I'm like, how real was the last movie you watched? Yeah. Were you invested? Was it fun? Did you have a good time watching it? That's all it is. But yeah, I have more respect for wrestlers because, dude, it's live, it's acting, it's performance, it's sports, it's jazz music, it's a dance. You don't know what you're doing from move to move sometimes. So yeah, I respect the hell out of it. If somebody wanted to start getting into some of the like alternative brand wrestling outside of WWE, where would you have them start today, and what's some of the older stuff you'd turn them to?
Today, I gotta plug my companies, Rocky Mountain Pro and Battleground Pro Wrestling, but I do understand if that's a little too niche for people that don't live in Colorado. Mm-hmm. There's Juggalo Championship Wrestling still.
That's on YouTube Thursdays, 5 o'clock Colorado time.
Yes. There's the NWA, who, despite being an on-again, off-again company, still runs to this day, mm-hmm. and they have their cult following. One of the companies that I would love to go...
Some great talents come through there, too. I mean, that's... If you watch WWE, Nick Aldis was their champion.
Yes.
They've had... oh, man, who was that big chick that was with Mercedes Moné for a little while?
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I can't...
she was in the Queen of the Ring movie. Anyway, I'll plug the name in here when I'm editing. But yeah, there's Brodus Clay. We talked about him earlier. He was there. Better shot for him. EC3 just left, but he was there.
Tom Latimer.
Yeah, I mean, there's good names there.
I would say from East Coast to West Coast, there's Deadlock Pro Wrestling down in North Carolina. Hog World, not World Championship Wrestling, Hog Championship Wrestling.
The biggest one, and they tour nationally, is GCW.
Yes, GCW. They stop here in Colorado. They stop in Texas. I think there's only one or two of the central United States that they haven't wrestled in.
Yeah.
GCW, phenomenal.
Chicago has...
I want to say it's Warrior Championship Wrestling. Is that the one you're thinking of?
There's a few of them there that's got some solid ones, and maybe they've even changed names, ownerships, and all of that. But I know there was one that was it started with it wasn't AEW, but it was like AIW or something like that.
I know.
Some good stuff.
And memory could
serve me wrong. I used to live near there, so I used to live in Davenport, Iowa. So, which was cool because I got to see Seth Rollins when he was Tyler Black before he went to ROH. Speaking of ROH and great talent that came through there.
I know Warhorse, I believe, is currently located out there. I don't know the name of his companies, but Warhorse as a wrestler, you can follow him. Pretty decent track record for companies that he works for and talent that he works with.
And the companies we talked about earlier are still around in different incarnations, different owners. But New Japan, they just had a huge Wrestle Kingdom show that I still need to watch. Joe, we're too busy, man. We got to hook up. And then, AEW, obviously, the big competitor, and TNA is getting a TV show deal next week. They're going to be on AMC. So And maybe some Chris Jericho showing up is the rumor. We'll see. I was hoping he'd show up Monday last week because I was on the after show with Wade, and it'd been fun to talk about, but we didn't get that. So the nice thing is I mean, you can find so much of the stuff with a YouTube subscription now.
Yeah, and the difference nowadays versus indies even in the 2000s.
It was a DVD business back then, man.
You had to hunt.
Yeah.
You had to hunt.
Yep.
If you wanted easy wrestling, it was WWE. If you wanted something that wasn't that, you had to hunt.
Yep. You had Hastings would have some stuff here and there. I'd always, when Hastings were around, that was a regional thing, but I'd find that we'd have stuff. I'd work at Camelot Music. We'd have it here and there, but yeah, most of the stuff was WWE. That was the easy stuff to find. But hey, if you're looking for physical media of wrestling, and Nerdstalgia's got you. We've got some of those PWG. We've got some ROH, some of the old stuff like a best of CM Punk. We've got. I kept the Summer of Punk DVD. I wanted that one, but we've got physical media here for you. If you're a wrestling fan, just stop by the store and come chat with us, man. We've got stuff for you to look at, but we'll just talk your ear off if you want to talk wrestling. Wrestling fans, we don't find each other very often, so when we find each other, we want to chat. So, Ray, it's been great having you on. Anything that you want to plug or not forget to mention?
Always keep in tune for Rocky Mountain Pro, whether I'm wrestling or hanging out with my tag partner Bryce 5, as well as Battleground Pro Wrestling. We're going to be in association with you on the 24th and hosting our show in Greeley, Colorado, about 2.5 hours north of here.
Yeah.
About an hour north of Denver. On the 31st, it'll be myself and Dakota Alexander. Quite a few other matches. I know the NWA territorial champion for Texas will be there. A man that I despise, Anthony Rivera, will be there. Quite a few other people will be there. So definitely a show not to miss out on.
Yep. BPW, there's a reason I asked them to be out here for the 24th. I think they put on a great show. And, had a little bit more availability than Rocky Mountain Pro to do something. So I'm a big fan of what BBW does. So, with that, nothing else here. We thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you want to be on an episode of What Am I Nerdy About, stop by the store and let me know. Send me a message on the social medias. Send me an email, nerdstalgiastore@gmail.com. Let me know you want to be on an episode. Let me know what you're nerdy about and want to talk about, and we'll cover it then. Until next time, thanks, guys.